Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of Human and Young Members Excellence Committee of ICI, it is my pleasure to welcome you all to Yashashwini and Idol Series 82. Yashashwini and Idol is a Wednesday series of programs conducted by the WIMEC for the women CAs and by the women CAs. This series is an extension of Sky High Symposiums, which conducted its 100 episodes. It is one of the committee's initiative to not only disseminate information to women members on technical updations and non-technical skills, but also to empower and inspire women members to come at forefront and realize their verbal skills at public forum. Uh, uh, women, Women and Young Members Excellence Committees or third Women's Excellence Award. For this, we have started inviting nomination for Excellence Awards and endeavor to honor and celebrate an exceptional achievement and exemplary contributions of women members of the institute. There are five award categories, that is CA Woman Lifetime Achievement Awards, CA Woman Independent Directors Award, CA Woman of the Year Award, CA Woman in Social Service Award, and CA Woman Startup Award. For this, last date for filing nomination is 30th November 2025. So I am requesting to all of you, please nominate yourself for this. For today's session, our first speaker is CA Karishma Kanabar ma'am. Karishma Kanabar ma'am is an indirect tax professional and law graduate with over 6 years of experience in GST and indirect taxation. She has handled diverse areas including GST compliances, due diligence, and refund sanction matters. She had an experience in providing strategic and practical solutions to a wide range of indirect tax issues across sectors. So, with this, I am handing over the session to CA Kanabar ma'am.
Thank you, Jyoti ji, for the introduction. I'll start with the session. Just let me know if my screen is visible.
Yes, ma'am. Perfectly, ma'am. It's visible, ma'am.
Okay. The part that I'll be handling today is GSTR 9 and GSTR 9C. We have the government has come up with various amendments for GSTR 9 and GSTR 9C by way of notification 13. As you all may be aware that the 56th council meeting has given a lot of rate rationalization, and along with that informed GSTR 9 and 9C, we used to face various issues wherein the reasons were that there is ITC mismatch in table GSTR 3B and table 8B. So, considering all those, the government has now tried that we try to avoid those mismatches, which is why they have got major changes in ITC. And there are hardly few changes in outward supplies, but we may cover them one by one. So, this table is merely a summary of the changes that has been brought up. These are the few changes in the table numbers of GSTR 9, and these are the few changes in 9C. Now, coming to outward supplies. So, initially, there was whatever tax is to be paid on any of the outward supplies that forms part of table number 4, and any zero rated supplies or so now in table number 4, we the government has introduced a specific row where we will report the supplies by e-commerce operators. So say for example Zomato or Swiggy is paying some tax for on behalf of the supplier, then that transaction will be reported in table number 4 of GSTR 9. Now that same supply, which is being reported by Zomato and Swiggy in table number 4, for the supplier that forms part of supply which is not liable to tax. So the supplier will report that supply in outward supply on which tax is not payable in table number 5. So this is one of the changes that the government has introduced in pertaining to outward supplies, where the outward supplies as per e-commerce operators are reported in tables 4 and 5. Now coming to form GSTR 1A, the government has recently introduced form GSTR 1A. So what is GSTR 1A? It is typically a form where we can if there are any errors or if we have missed out any transactions while filing form GSTR 1, then that amendment can be made before we file GSTR 3B for that particular period. So, say for example, I have filed my GSTR 1 on 10th of a particular month, and I realize that I have missed out some particular transaction. Then, before filing the GSTR 3B of that month, I am allowed to make that amendment in GSTR 1A. So now the FAQs have specifically stated that if there are any changes which are to be done in GSTR 1, I can make that change through GSTR. We are populating the correct details in form GSTR 9. The changes which will be made through 1A will also get automatically incorporated in the system computed 9, which we download from the portal. So this will ensure that there is consistency for all the returns which we are filing during the year. So pertaining to outward supplies, these are the only main two changes. Now we will move on to one important part, which is ITC. First, I would like to brief that why the changes are being brought majorly in ITC. Earlier period, there were no segregations in table number 6 of form GSTR 9. So we used to report all the ITC which was claimed during the year, typically in table number 6. And because of that, the ITC from table 6 used to flow to table number 8, and there used to be a mismatch where the government used to compare, the GST authorities used to compare the figures between 6 and 8 and shoot out a notice. From this year onwards, we feel that that should not be a problem because the form has been designed in such a way that if there are any particular transactions which are pertaining to previous year, that is pertaining to previous year 23-24, then a particular row has been introduced to report such ITC. So, what is table number 6A1 and how we will report the ITC there? So, first, before moving on to that, in context to ITC, there are two transactions which are possible. First, that I claim my ITC. After that, I may have reversed my ITC, and then I may particularly reclaim my ITC. So reversal of ITC can be on account of various reasons. One of the possible reasons could be that as per section 16 of GST law, I can claim ITC only if the supplier has filed the return. So one of the reasons why I cannot claim my ITC is because it is not appearing in my 2B. Second reason is that supposing if I have claimed particular ITC and if I have not made the payment to the supplier in 180 days, then I am required to reverse that ITC. In such a case, that ITC which I am reversing for not making the payment in 180 days is considered to be the ITC on account that is considered to be the reversal on account of Rule 37. So what is Rule 37? Supposing if I claim rupees 100 of 100 within a period of 180 days, I will be required to reverse that 100 rupees. Now, when I pay that 100 rupees at a later period of time, I may be allowed to reclaim it. So that reversal which I am making for not making the payment in within a period of 180 days is reversal under Rule 37. What is 37A? 37A is basically the reversal where, say for example, my supplier has filed the form GSTR1, and because he has filed the form GSTR1, the ITC is appearing in my 2B. Basis the 2B, I have claimed the credit. Now it may so happen that the supplier has filed one. I have claimed the credit because it is appearing in my 2B, but the now on that shouldn't be a problem because the supplier can file 3B only if the GSTR one for next month, only if 3B for a particular month is filed. So these days this shouldn't be a problem, but the government has also tried to ensure that if there are any such reversals which I'm making because the supplier filed one, I claimed the credit basis the transaction appearing in 2B, and later if I'm reversing such credit, then that reversal is the reversal under Rule 37A. So having known these two reversals, there are other reversals apart from Rule 37 and 37A. Say, for example, there is a circular number 170, which was introduced by the government in 2022. So that circular states that generally I'm supposed to claim all the ITC basis from GSTR 2B. Now, if I have claimed the ITC, but I have not received the goods, or if the transaction is not appearing in my purchase register for whatever reason, maybe if that goods are not received or I have not received the invoice. So all such ITC which I have claimed because it is appearing in my 2B, the circular states that I should claim the credit in table number 4A5 of form GSTR 3B, reverts the credit because it is not appearing or in my purchase register or I have not received the goods, and then I can reclaim it as soon as it appears in my purchase register or as soon as I receive the goods. So there are various categories of reversal basis which the form has been bifurcated. So, say for example, if there is any ITC of preceding financial year 23-24, which is availed in current financial year 24-25, then such ITC will be forming part of my table 6A1. But such ITC should be the ITC which is reclaimed other than the ITC which is reclaimed on account of Rule 37 and 37A. So what does this mean? Table 6A of my form GSTR 9 will have all the ITC that I have claimed during 24-25 in my 3B. That is, in table 4A5 of my 3B, all the ITC that I have claimed during 24-25 will form part of my table 6A. After that, 6A1 will be the ITC of preceding financial year 23-24, which I have claimed in 24-25, other than on account of reclaimed credits because of Rule 37. So, if there is any other reclaimed credit other than Rule 37A, sorry, you are trying to say something, Saurabh?
No, ma'am. Please continue, ma'am.
Hello. Yeah. So if there is any ITC which is being reclaimed and the reclaimed is not on account of reversal under Rule 37, then even that will form part of my table 6A1. So basically, 6A will be the entire ITC claimed during 24-25. 6A1 will include ITC of previous year 23-24. And 6A2 will be the net ITC. So 6A2 will basically be the ITC that is pertaining to financial year 24-25. Financial year 23-24, table 6J used to show a difference because there was no bifurcation between the previous year credit and the current year credit. Going forward, table 6J should not show any difference. That is, it will appear as 0 because I have segregated the ITC of previous year and the current year. Coming to table 6M, previous year till previous year, all the ITC okay, pertaining to the preceding financial year, that is for 23-24, ITC of 22-23, there was no row which was given to bifurcate such ITC. So many taxpayers used to put that ITC in table number 6M. Going forward, it is stated that table 6M will only include ITC which is availed because of ITC 2, ITC 2A, ITC 1. That is which is availed in any other form other than GSTR 3B and Grant 1 forms. So I will cover this with some examples below, that how we will report the ITC of the previous year. What are the changes in table number 7? So, like I mentioned, Rule 37A reversal, initially that reversal used to be reported in table 7H, which was other reversals. But now they have introduced table 7A1 so that any ITC which is reversed on account of Rule 37A will form part of my table 7A1. And 7A2 is for Rule 38 reversals, which are pertaining to banking companies and financial institutions, where it is a requirement to reverse 50% of the ITC. So, any such reversal will be reported in table number 7A2. So, now coming to table number 8 of Form GSTR 9. Table number 8A is a auto-populated table. There is 425, which is appearing in 2B of financial year 24-25, is auto-populated in table number 8A. So that table will exclude all the ITC of 23-24, which I have claimed in 24-25. So if there is any ITC of 24-25, which is reported in 2B of 25-26, because as per the rules, I am allowed to claim ITC up till 30th November of the next year. Earlier, the date was 30th September, and now the date is 30th November. So, if there is any ITC of financial year 24-25, which I am reporting in 2B of 25-26, then that pertains to 24-25. So I can claim that part, that ITC, which is reported in 2B of 25-26, pertaining to 24-25, will also be auto-populated in my 8A. Similarly, it will exclude any ITC of financial year 23-24 that appeared in 2B of 24-25. So what is the reason for this? The reason is that they want that table 8A should only contain those particular transactions which are belonging to financial year 24-25. So if there are any transactions pertaining to previous year 23-24 that will not form part of table 8A, similarly, if any transaction of 24-25 is appearing in my 2B of 25-26, that will be included in table 8. So table 8 that comes down to my ITC of two plans and taxpayers are facing issues because the table 8 Excel, which is downloaded from the portal, and the 8 that appears online, that is the system computed 8, may have difference. Now, that difference could be on account of various reasons. One of the reasons is that when we download the Excel, supposing if I had made some error, say in reporting a transaction as RCM, or while reporting the place of supply, or while reporting a B2B transaction as B2C, then all such amendments, when they appear in my table 8 Excel, they will form part of B2B. The correct transaction will appear in B2B. And the amendment will form part of my table B2BA of the Excel utility. However, all the corrections are made automatically on the backend and they will be appearing, the correct figures will be appearing in my 8A which appears online. So, ATA Excel, though it pertains and contains the invoice level details of the ATA online figure, there could be possibility that the figures are not matching. And these are the reasons wherein the figures might not match, and we may consider the B2B and B2BA transactions of table AKXL to derive the figure which is appearing in my online system computed form. So, say for example, if there is RCM which is appearing in AKXL, but it will not appear in my AK Online because AK Online does not include the RCM figures, as GSTR2B is not supposed to report the transactions which are liable to tax under RCM. Similarly, if I had inadvertently reported a supply as a normal charge and later if that is amended to RCM, it will appear in the Excel as B2B and B2BA. But in AK Online, it will appear the way it should actually go to my GSTR2B. Similarly, if a place of supply, if I go to a hotel, I stay in a hotel and the place of supply should be CGST and aware, and they may have reported the transaction as IGST. And later on, if that transaction is amended to C and SGST, then the ITC will be ineligible. So such ineligible ITC will appear in my AK Excel, but it won't appear in my table 8 AK that appeared online. And further, any amendments made in B2B or B2BA sections will appear in the Excel but will not appear online. So it may be noted that the online figures are the correctly populated figures where there might be some additional records which are present in the Excel, but the AK online figure is the correct figure which should be considered at the time of filing form GSTR 9. Now, since table 8 has undergone significant modifications, there has been delinking of table number 8B and table number 6H, which means that if there is any ITC which is appearing in my table 6B, it will form part of my table 8B. What was the fact earlier? Earlier, the table 8B used to consider the amounts from two rows. It was sum of 6B plus 6H. 6H pertain to any ITC which was reclaimed. So in that case, now the form has delinked 6H because any ITC which is reclaimed will form part of table number 6H, but that will not populate in 8B. So the reason is that they do not want the transaction should appear in 2B again, and hence they are not auto-populating that, and they have delinked the table number 6H. Table 8C. If there is any ITC of a year, say for example, any ITC of financial year 24-25, which I am availing for the first time in financial year 25-26, then such ITC will form part of my table number 8C. So that availment could be on reason because supplier had not filed GSTR1, or it could be because I have missed to report that ITC or I have missed to claim that ITC. Here it is pertinent to note that if any ITC is being reported in 8C, it should be such ITC which is being claimed for the very first time in 25-26 up till 30th November. So if the ITC has been claimed, reversed, and if I'm reclaiming it in the next year, then such ITC will not form part of my table 8C, because table 8C should only report the ITC which is appearing for the first time in the next financial year. Also, the government has now introduced 8H1. So if there is any imports where I have paid the IGST on imports, but I'm claiming the ITC for it in 25-26, then it will be reported in table number 8H1. That will also form part of my table 13. There are two important things that I would like to highlight here. Table number 8 has two main important mapping which is done. That is the mapping between 2B and the books. And table number 13 has mapping which is done between the purchase register, that is the books, and 3B, that is the ITC that is being claimed. So coming to the examples, these are three scenarios. Scenario number one, if I claim ITC of 120 from financial year 23-24, which is being claimed in 24-25, then in such a case, the ITC of will form part of my table 6A because I have claimed that ITC in 24-25, so it will form part of my table 6A. Now, such claim is pertaining to 23-24, so I will report that ITC in table number 6A1, and that is my net ITC of financial year will be 0. 120 minus 120, that is 0. This is the first time claim, which is of 24, which I'm claiming in 24-25. Now we come to the case of reclaim. Say, for example, we earlier saw that there are two types of reversal. One is reversal because of Rule 37-37A. Other is reversal because of any other reason. Example, following circular number 17 that I have done and reversed in 23-24. Say, for example, I claimed my ITC in October 23. I did not make the payment in 180 days and I reversed the ITC in the November 23. And now I have made the payment and reclaiming it in April 24. So that is the reclaim on account of Rule 37 and 37A. So how will the transaction be reported? The first time claim, because I'm claiming ITC of 23-24 in 24-25, the amount will be reported as 120 in table number 6A, because 6A is populating the figures from table 4A 5 of GSTR 3Bs, which are filed during the entire year. So 120 will be populated in table 6A. In table 6A1, the amount is 0. The amount is 0 because this reclaim is on account of Rule 37 and 37A. So, any such reclaim on account of Rule 37 and 37A will form part of my table number 6H and not form part of my table 6A1. Having said that, the net ITC of table 6A2 will be 120 minus 0, which is 120, and the reclaimed ITC will appear as a part of my table number 6H. Similarly, if there is any reclaim on account of if there is any reclaim other than Rule 37 and 37A, in such a case, the ITC will be appearing here in table 6A as 120. In table number 6A1, the ITC will be 120. Why? Because it is reversal other than Rule 37 and 37A. Hence, the reclaim portion will be a part of my table 6A1 and not table 6H. So here the net ITC that pertains to 24-25 in 6A2 will be 0. Now the way to remember this can be if any ITC of previous year is claimed in current year, that is because of Rule 37 and 37A, such reclaim will be reported in 6H. However, if such reclaim is on account of any other reason, then it will form part of my 6A1. This pertains to all such transactions where we are claiming previous year ITC, reclaiming previous year ITC. Moving on to the next scenario, here it is the ITC of 24-25, which was claimed in 24-25, reversed in 24-25, and reclaimed in 24-25. So here, whatever may be the reason of reversal, whether irrespective of Rule 37 or 37A, or other than Rule 37 and 37A, all the reclaimed portion of my ITC will appear in table number 6H. easier way to remember is if it is a transaction of 1 year reclaimed in another year, I am required to bifurcate the reason of reversal and accordingly report my ITC. However, if the ITC is claimed, reversed, and reclaimed in the same year, there is no reason why I would have to bifurcate the ITC. So, table 6A, say for example, ITC of 120 was claimed in 24-25. Say for example, I claimed it in April 24, then I reversed it in October 24, and if I have reclaimed it in March 25. So it will be appearing twice in my table number 4A of GSTR 3B, and hence the amount appearing in my 6A will be 240 because one time I have claimed it, the second time I have reclaimed it. So the amount appearing in my 6A will be 240. Now I'm supposed to give bifurcation of this 240 in the below tables. So how will that bifurcation be given? 6A1 will have 0 because this is no ITC pertaining to my previous year. So the net ITC of this year will remain 240. Out of 240, the ITC which I claimed for the very first time will form part of table number 6B, which is 120. ITC which I have reclaimed will form part of my table number 6H. And ITC which I have reversed will form part of my table number 7, depending on the reason of reversal. Say, for example, if it is on account of rule 3737A, it will form part of 7A, 7A1. If it is on account of any other reason, it will form part of 7H. Having said that, since now 8B only considers the figures appearing from 6B, the ITC appearing in my 8B will remain 120 only because that is the actual amount of claim that I am supposed to claim in 3B and the amount that will be appearing in my 2B, which is ITC as per 2B 120, and hence the difference that will appear in my 8B will ideally be 0. Moving on to the next example, if the ITC of 120 is claimed and reversed in 24-25, like we saw previously, the rules will remain same. The ITC availed through 3B in the current year will be 120 because I have claimed it and I'm reclaiming it in the next year. So it will appear in my 3B of 25-26. In my year 24-25, it will be appearing in my 3B only once. So my ITC as per 6A will be 120. Net ITC of the year will be 120. I will bifurcate the ITC. I will bifurcate the reversal as well because I have reversed it in 24-25. So 8A will be showing as 120 and 8B will be showing as 120 with difference being 0. Now here, this ITC is reclaimed. It is not not a claim which is being done for the first time in 25-26. Hence, I will not report it in table number 8C because it is the ITC which is claimed, reversed, and reclaimed, unlike the previous example which we saw, where the ITC was being claimed for the first time in the next financial year. Hence, the difference in 8D will amount to rupees 0. How will I report this in table number 30? So, important part of the FAQ states that any ITC which is claimed on account of Rule 37 and 37A will be considered as the ITC of the year in which the eligibility of claim arises. Hence, if there is a ITC of say 23-24, which was reversed on account of Rule 37-37A and is being reclaimed in 24-25, such ITC will not be reported in Table 13 of 23-24. Likewise, if I'm doing the same for 24-25, where the reclaim in next year is on account of reversal 37-37A, it will not form part of my Table 13 because that ITC is considered to be the year of ITC in which I'm eligible to claim. That is after making the payment. So now, like we saw here in the above example, since A, B figures only consider table number 6B and not the reclaimed portion. Ensure that the 8B figure is only populating 6B figures. And the reason which was to be linked is that earlier we were getting many notices wherein the reason for differences were on account of ITC of previous year. Now these differences will not be coming this year onwards. Now, how will I report such ITC in 25-26? So, say for example, there is a reversal due to Rule 37 and 37A, which pertains to 24-25. Then in GSTR 9 of 25-26, like we saw for 23-24, ITC away through 3B will form part of my table number 6A. Since the reversal was on account of Rule 37 and 37A, amount appearing in 6A1 will be 0 and that figure will form part of my 6H. Similarly, if it is on account of other than Rule 37 and 37A, then the ITC will be reported in 6A1 and not in 6H. Because like we saw on the previous example, if any ITC of previous year is being claimed in subsequent years, then I need to bifurcate the reclaim whether it pertains to Rule 37, 37A or for reason other than Rule 37 and 37. Moving on to table number 9. This considers any tax paid which we are declaring in the returns of the financial year. So say for example, if I am having a tax payable of 100, but the amount that I am paying through cash and ITC is 80. So the difference column will be flagging the amount of difference that is of my GSTR 9. Now it has been introduced to flag any such differences. Moving on to table number 12 and table number 13. Table number 12 will report any such ITC of financial year which is reversed in the next financial year. Earlier, the warden said that reversal of ITC availed during previous financial years. Okay, so here it was not clear which ITC will form part of my table 12. Now it is specifically stated that if there is any ITC of 23-24, which I am reversing in 24-25, such ITC will form part of my table number 12. Similarly, if there is any ITC which I am availing in the next financial year, then earlier the warden stated that ITC availed for previous financial year. Now it is stated that ITC of financial year availed in next financial year. PC, which I am claiming up to 30th November of 25-26, then such ITC will be reported in my table number 13. Now, the form has also introduced HSN reporting, which is made simpler because if we go to the form GSTR 9 as appearing on portal, we are able to download Excel of HSN summary. So, whatever summary was uploaded at the time of filing GSTR 1 monthly returns, the entire Excel will be auto-populated and so it will be much more simpler to report the HSN in table number 13 of my form GSTR 9. Now, the changes which were done in table number in GSTR 9, those changes have also been mapped to GSTR 9C. The changes on account of reconciliation table number 7, it includes all the changes. We saw that in GSTR 9, additional row has been inserted where the supplies made by e-commerce operators are to be reported by them. So now table 9C has also introduced that particular transaction where the e-commerce operators will show their supplies, hence the reconciled figure will appear at 0. Similarly, in rate-wise liability, in Form 9C, table number 9, that also has supplies on which e-commerce operator is required to pay tax under 9(5), including all the amendments. And so the reconciliation of rate-wise liability also has the transactions pertaining to e-commerce. Similarly, like we saw that there is a difference table auto-populating in GSTR 9, there is also a table which is introduced in 9C to show any additional amount which is payable and any additional liability which is payable because of any non-reconciliation related to e-commerce operator supplies. Now, why that would be a non-reconciliation item? Because there might be a case where e-commerce operator is paying the tax on behalf of the supplier. In such cases, if there is any reason of difference, then that will be reported in table number 11 and part 5 of the table. That is part 3, table 11, and part 5 of part 3. The late-free provisions have been introduced. This is to ensure that all the taxpayers who are filing their annual returns are aware that if the returns are filed late, then they are accountable for late fee obligations. So this table 17 will ensure that the late fee payable and the late fee paid gets auto-populated before filing of GSTR 9C. Just 1 minute. Um, Sorry. So yeah, and after having gone through all the provisions, this is just 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 a minute. Huh. So here, it is just a request that many taxpayers feel that maybe there might be any sort of extension, but we do not expect any such extension this year because so it is a request that maybe you should file the returns on time so as to ensure the year-end leaves. So now I will just move on to the participants in case there are any queries.
Hi everyone. If there is any queries, please mention in the question box because we haven't received any queries so far regarding the session. If anyone having any queries, please mention in the question box, please. Okay, so there is one query from Gayatri. Karishma ji, if you can answer. She wants to repeat table 7 of GSTR 9. Karishma ji, if possible, if you can repeat table 7 of GSTR 9. Um, just hold on, let me check with the connections. Uh, Karishma ji, if you can rejoin. Hello.
Ma'am, actually, Karishma just type a question that she is unable to hear anything.
Okay, yes, I'm just looking at that. Karishma ji, I have mentioned a query in the chat box. If you can rejoin. Saurabh, can you check with Karishma?
Harshada, Karishma is rejoining the system.
Okay. Hello. Okay, hi. Actually, there are few queries we have received right now. So they wanted to repeat the table 7 of GSTR 9 and also regarding the same table 7G of GSTR 9 will not match with GSTR 3B of net ITC. Any solution on it? It is the question.
Sorry, there was some technical glitch on my end. Can you
Okay.
repeat the query?
Okay. So they wanted to repeat they wanted to repeat table 7 of GSTR 9. And regarding table 7, we have received another query too that table 7J of GSTR 9 will not match with GSTR 3B of net ITC. So any solution on it?
So table 7J of GSTR 9 will match with the net ITC because any ITC that I am reclaiming on
Mhm.
account of for reason other than rule 37 and 37A, as it is forming part of my table 6B. So it should match, that table 7J should match with my net ITC which I am claiming in 3B of 24-25. Because
It is
any reversal which I'm making during a particular month 3B. So all the reversal will form part of my, either it will form part of 4B1 or 4B2 in my form GSTR 3B. So having said that, if I'm reversing any ITC say on account of circular or for reversal under rule 37 or 37A, all such ITC will form part of 4B2 of my 3B and net appears in my 4C of form GSTR 3B. Similarly, while filing form GSTR 9, all the reversals on whatever account will form part of my table number 7. So having said that, my table 7J should match with net ITC of GSTR 3B.
okay. So can you just repeat a table 7 in brief?
Yeah,
Because there
sure.
was a request for it.
So table number 7 basically pertains to all the reversals. If any reversal is done on account of rule 37, that is, like I said, where I'm not making the payment in 180 days. So that will form part of my table 7. That is reversal on account of 180 days in rule 37. Then 37A. 7A1 has been introduced from this year onwards, which will report any ITC which is on account of a reason where supplier has filed the GSTR1. I have claimed the ITC in my GSTR 3B because I have claimed the ITC in my 3B because if the supplier has filed one, then that would appear in my 2B. So I have claimed in my 3B. However, I could, just a minute. So in that case, I have claimed it in my GSTR 3B. But if the supplier has not paid the tax to the government, then in such case, ideally, I'm not eligible for such ITC. Though now the cases would be very less because supplier can file next month's GSTR1 only if the GSTR 3B of previous month has been filed. However, previously there used to be such cases where the supplier used to file the GSTR1. It used to appear in my 2B basis that I'm claiming it in my 3B. However, that claim is not eligible. So such ITC is reversed in 7A1 and any other reversal which is on account of circular 170 or because the transaction is not appearing in my books, all such reversals will form part of other reversals which is part of table number 7H. And lastly, if there is any ineligible ITC and reversal on account of ineligible ITC, that is block credit 17.5, even that reversal will be reported in table 7.
Okay. Thank you. There is one other question. It is regarding the invoice. The question is, in case of invoice that has date of 23/24, reflecting in 2B of 24/25, recorded in books 24/25, claimed in 3B of also 24/25, should it have been reported in table 13 of GSTR 9 of 23/24? And if not reported, then table 13 of GSTR 9 of not reported in table 13 of GSTR 9 of 23/24, it is correct to show in table 6A12.
Yeah, so here I would like to mention that since the FAQs have been introduced from this year, that is from 24/25, earlier people were not even aware that the bifurcation will be required between the 2 years, that is 23/24 and 24/25. So earlier, many people have reported ITC in table number 13, irrespective of whether it is claimed in this year or whether it was just reclaimed in this year. So there is a possibility that there might be a mismatch. But however, considering and going forward, now since the FAQs are brought in, it is very important that we reflect the correct figures in 6A12, irrespective of whatever reporting has been done in the previous year.
Okay. I hope the queries are being solved. There is another query. Bifurcation of input and input service in table 6 of form GSTR 9 is compulsory for financial year 24/25. It was not mandatory till 23/24. So,
So here, even for 24/25, input and input services bifurcation is not mandatory. What is mandatory is to report capital goods separately. Otherwise, we can report ITC as for for goods and for services in the heads, which is more dominantly pertaining to the business.
okay. So anyone, if having any queries, please share it. Like we have in 5 to 6 minutes. Okay, so there is one more query regarding 7J only. Like ITC is a hot topic. So yeah. So the query is in continuation of 7J query. Previous year ITC is not to be considered in table 6 as we considered only table 6A2. So it will not match with net ITC of table 4C, previous year credit claimed in GSTR 3B. Any view on this?
So, like I said, for 7J, in my table number 6, I will report my ITC which is pertaining to 23-24, right? And if there is any reversal pertaining to 23-24, then that reversal will also form part of my table 7. So ideally, there should not be any difference between 7. There should not be any difference in my 7J.
Okay, which section can be referred for? Okay, regarding the bifurcation of input and input service, we received one more query. Which section circular can be referred for not bifurcation of input and input services?
So that is there as a part of instructions which are given in the new forms. If we read form GSTR 9 and 9C, utilities which are brought out, then that has mentioned that, we are not supposed to, that bifurcation is not mandatory.
Let's wait for 1 to 2 minutes if anyone having any queries.
So,
We haven't got any more queries. So I think we should wrap the session. So I would really like to extend my vote of thanks to you, Karishma ji, for your wonderful input, like about input tax credits. So, like, it's a hot topic. We are struggling with GSTR 9, 9C. The last 7 years, it was whole different form. Now they are coming with different things, and the auto popular data is different. The 3B is different. One is different. The books are not matching. So, it's definitely going to a hard task. But thanks for your input. It will help everyone to have it a smooth transition. Thanks a
thank you.
lot.
Thank
Thank
you
you
so
so much.
much. Thank you.
I ask Manisha ji to take it forward. Thank you.
Hello. Good afternoon. So our second session for today is the topic is decode stress with Gita and ancient wisdom for modern life. Today we have our esteemed member, CA Dr. Sheetal Shukla, who will guide us on the spiritual path. She has over 23 years of experience and is a partner at SSKP and Associates. She specializes in forensic auditing, fraud detection, and internal audits and taxation. She is passionate academician with a PhD degree, FCA, ICAEW membership, FAFT certification, and she has published over 6 research papers. So over to you, ma'am. Sheetal, ma'am.
Thank you, Manisha ma'am. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. I thank Women and Young Members Excellence Committee (ICI) for giving me this opportunity today. Today, we are going to explore something very unique, like how timeless wisdom from Srimad Bhagavad Gita can help us handle stress, improve clarity, and build leadership and in our modern workspaces. Let me first clarify, this is not a religious session, because Gita is actually a psychological book, correct? So this is not a spiritual session at all. I'll just share my screen. Is my screen visible here? Hello? Is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we are talking about decoding stress with the Gita. We are relating ancient wisdom with our modern life. We very well know, maximum of us know that Srimad Bhagavad Gita was Gyan was given by Krishna, Sri Krishna to Arjun in the battlefield. Arjun was in the battlefield, all the enemies, the armies were standing opposite to each other, and there he feels that no, I cannot now. Correct? So at that time, Sri Krishna said he has to, because he was fighting for dharma. He was fighting what is right and what is wrong. He was right. He was for the right side. So right side should win. So there, for 18 days, Srimad Bhagavad Gita was told by Sri Krishna. It has 18 chapters here, having around 700 verses, the shlokas. Over here, just a second. Over here, we will be discussing a few, maybe very few, 3-4 verses only. And we see that only 3-4 verses when gives us such a huge food for thought. What if we read the whole Gita? That is very difficult, I know. But let us just go through these 3 verses. We are dealing with stress today. As Karishma just said, that everybody is on chutti in December, 31st December, in Christmas holidays. But we are preparing GSTR 9 and GSTR 9C, correct? So we are going through a lot of stress, even the corporate world, even our professional life. So we have dates and dates piling up. Let us see how do we relate with ancient wisdom with our modern life. So the topics which we will be covering here is how the topic is relevant today. First of all, the reasons for stress. In today's world, we are correlating Kurukshetra battlefield with today's corporate world or today's profession. So let us see what are the reasons of stress in Kurukshetra battlefield, and what is reasons for stress in the today's corporate world or in today's profession. We will be seeing only 3 verses here, from chapter 2. Chapter 2 is talking about Sthita Prajna. Now, who is a Sthita Prajna? Sthita Prajna is a person who is balanced, person with a stable intellect. Now, yes, Shri Krishna talks about stable intellect person or a person who is balanced. So here, for battling in our battlefield, we require total wisdom, correct? We require to be balanced. Our emotional balance is very much required here. So how do we achieve this focus, clarity, emotional balance? So we will be talking about only those things in only these three verses. And at the end, we talk about takeaways. Might be my session is not that very long, but still let us dive through it. Okay, now let us talk about Bhagavad Gita. There are 18 chapters, as I said. There are 18 chapters. First chapter, talks about battlefield scene. The two enemies are standing one opposite to each other, and there on his chariot, Sri Krishna, Arjun comes with Sri Krishna as the charioteer. Now there he feels that I cannot fight today because I have my own people opposite in the opposite army, my gurus, my relatives, my friends, and I cannot fight against them. But here that is called Arjun Vishadyog, that is, he says that I cannot fight. And in the second chapter, Sri Krishna talks about the person who is a balanced person or rational person, a person with a stable intellect, which is required today. In even chapter 12, there's one chapter 12, we will be discussing only 3 verses of chapter 2, but there is chapter 12. We talked about characteristics of a leader, characteristics of a friend or a devotee. Who is a devotee? Krishna says about who is a devotee. But here we can connect that to the leaders today. Like who is a leader? But that's a different thing. Let us just dive into our topic. Why this topic is relevant? Today we have rising workspaces stress, always burnt out. Correct? Now we just saw Karishma saying that GSTR 9, GSTR 9C. We have to go through all these things, and when everybody is on leave, and only I am working or my office is working, it builds a lot of stress. Today's world is dynamic world, ever changing. Every day some new deadline has come. Every day, like maybe deadlines, we are waiting till the end. The deadline should extend, and it's not extending. So, everywhere the stress is going up and up. Here, the second point we go through is high decision load. Now, whenever these stress is building up, whenever these deadlines are coming, we as managers or we as the partners, or maybe at any level, let me be at article level also, I have to make some decisions. So there's a huge decision load, and of course at the higher level the decision load is very high. There's uncertainty. I don't know whether the date will be extended or not. Today the date is today is, it's suppose 31st of October. I don't know whether the date will be extended or not, and clients come at the end. Now, but at the end, last minute, the client comes last day at around 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, and then I have to see the trial balance, make financials, do the audit, and so many things are there. Still, people expect us to complete our things in time. Correct? So there are huge expectations from us. For dealing with all these, we require inner stability in this changing environment. And there are a lot of seminars going on for mental peace or calmness or emotional quotient. Okay, now we have connected over here Gita as a timeless manual for clarity and resilience. When we are dealing with all these stress levels today, stress is becoming our silent epidemic. Everybody, majorly chartered accountants, are facing super stress. So let us deal with these uncertainties, fear, the pressure, and let us build our inner self tough and against all these odds. Let us see reasons of stress. What are the reasons of stress? Now here we have correlated Kurukshetra battlefield with the Gen Z scenario, or today's just a second. Yeah, today's Gen Z scenario with Kurukshetra battlefield or our seer practice. Let us see what are the challenges which Arjun faced at that time and what we are facing today. Let us just correlate them and whether it is yet the same or not. So point one, the challenge one we say is overwhelm in face of huge responsibility. There is a huge responsibility on Arjun. Now, Arjun is in complete stress now because he saw his own people on the opposite side, his own gurus, his own friends and relatives on the opposite side, and he feels that I cannot fight this battle. The same thing comes on us today. We have major responsibility, we have performance targets, we have job security concerns, we our family is impacting, our friends and relations are impacting here because of our work level stress, because we are trying to have our work life balance. Our family is impacting a lot. Now here, same way as Arjun was feeling overwhelmed in face of huge responsibility, we also are facing stress because of this. Second challenge we have, I have jotted down some challenges. There will be 100% many challenges. We have sorted down some challenges here. Second is role conflict and identity crisis. Arjun feels, should I fight? Is this my responsibility, or am I doing the right thing? I'm fighting for dharma, I'm fighting for right thing, but am I doing right thing by fighting against my gurus and my elders? The same thing happens to us when we are fighting in the career. We feel that, am I in the right career? So many times it happens that I suppose I am into income tax and or GST. Every day there are different deadlines, different changes, amendments going on. Sometimes I feel whether I'm in right career or not. What am I doing? I can't balance everybody's expectations. I don't have my work life balance. So there is a role conflict or identity crisis so many times. So many times I feel whether I'm in the right career or not. Should I leave everything? If I'm in the practice, I feel, should I leave everything and go to corporate world? People who are in corporate world, they are also facing stress and they feel कि भाई जो practice कर रहा है, he is better. So there is a huge identity crisis. There are a lot of role conflicts. The next comes emotional exhaustion. Now, Arjun in Kurukshetra battlefield, he says, Siddhanti mama gatrani mukham cha parishushati. My body is trembling, my mouth is drying. I am not motivated at all to go for the battle. Same thing happens to us so many times. Correct. When it is a deadline, we have still to file around 3 to 4 returns, or we still have to complete 3 to 4 audits, and there are only 3 to 4 days left. The portal is not working properly. We are into total fatigue. We have a lot of anxiety. There is emotional numbness there. The enthusiasm decreases, that what is this, I'm helpless, I can't file. And then everybody puts things on Twitter, on social media. Our CA women group starts putting things on CA women groups, that whether portal is working or not, what to do. So everywhere there is emotional exhaustion. The next is attachment to results. Now at the Kurukshetra battlefield scenario, Arjun's fear comes from worrying about outcomes. If I win, my elders, my friends, my family will lose the battle. So many people will die. He is guilty. He is guilty. He is afraid about the consequences. This stress is because he is attached to results. What if my what if I win and these people lose, so many people will die. Correct? The same way over here, employees worry about outcomes constantly, whether promotions, bonus, ratings, job loss. That is there everywhere. We see every now and then big companies are retrenching their employees. So, this fixation on results often overshadows focus, creativity, and well being. We give so much importance to the outcomes, so much importance to the result, and we are afraid about the results. And because of that, our creativity is lost, our well being is lost. The next challenge which we are facing, or Arjun was facing, was fear of failure and judgment. He fears what society will say if he fails or withdraws from the battle. He is there in between the battlefield. Both the armies are standing in front of each other, and he is standing in between. And he says, "What if I withdraw from the battle?" We, as professionals, fear being judged by bosses, our peers, even on LinkedIn level society, leading to career anxiety. So, everywhere now, we only have gone through a lot of social media and everywhere that we now fear people judgment. How will I be judged?
Yeah, Sheetal, good discussions are going on. I am
Yes.
Preeti Savla here.
Yes, Preeti ma'am. Good, good.
Hi, hi. So if you can close your screen for a
Yes, sure,
moment.
sure, sure.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
So I thought let me also,
Yes, yes,
good
yes, ma'am.
sessions are going on, and the message what we want has to come up and show your leadership skills and also be creative where our creativity is dead somewhere. So have some time for all of you, right? Self, so that you can think beyond your routine work, right? At least half an hour,
Correct.
1 hour, you think what want to do, what want to achieve, and that bring your creativity beyond your routine work, right? That message what you are giving, I really understand and give that. I came here to share with all of you that we have come out with third CA Women Excellence Awards, and recently we had very good conference Altair at Mumbai, and 500 plus participants, participating women, all women. It was really incredible, and we have received a lot of compliments also from everyone for success of our Falcon and Altair. So taking it forward, and since last 2 years, committee is also coming out with awards. CA Women Excellence Award. We have also opened the nomination forms. So I request everyone to put forward your nomination. We have 5 categories of the awards. So what I request, Ruchi, WMC office, who is there? Ruchi is there, and Saurabh is there. So please put forward the flyer and the link in the chat box so that everyone, I request to please come forward and apply for the award. For this is, we have come out with this Women Excellence Award. There are 5 categories of the awards: Women of the Best Women of the Year, then Lifetime Achievement Award, then Best social service, then Best in the Startup, or independent director. Like that, we have 5 categories. So I request all of you to nominate yourself for these awards. Who is there? Ruchi is there from the office? Who is there from office? Institute side? Saurabh? Technical team? So I will request them and they will put in the chat box. Yeah. So please come forward and put forward your nomination. And this Yashaswini series, 80 episodes will be completing, and soon the 100 episodes. So I wish you all the best for this series, and come forward, and looking forward more and more our CA members to come and moderate or speak in this session. This is a platform given to all of you, and this opportunity to each one of you to come forward and show your leadership skills in speaking and in moderating the sessions, and showcase your learnings and experience and the expertise. With these words, I give back to Sheetal to take it further, and looking forward all our nomination and for the best women of the year as the best chartered accountant women for the awards. Thank you. Yeah,
Thank you very much, Preeti ma'am.
yeah. I thought let me make this announcement. So
Yes, ma'am.
yeah.
Is my screen visible now?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so we were talking about the challenges, the reasons of stress, the challenges we face today, and challenges which was faced by Arjun in Kurukshetra. So we saw overwhelm in face of huge responsibility, role conflicts and identity crisis, emotional exhaustion, attachment to results, fear of failure and judgment. Sixth challenge we see is need for a mentor or a coach. See, Krishna acts as his mentor, Arjun's mentor, his guide and emotional anchor, who motivates him to fight. He helps Arjun gain clarity, purpose, and resilience. In our case, generally we navigate stress better through our mentors, our coaches, our managers with empathy, mental wellness support. So empathy is required when our mentors, our coaches or managers empathize. They see where we are and they can motivate us. So as I said, there let us take three verses and just discuss on these three verses. So we'll take chapter 2, shlok 63, which says, Krodhat bhavati sammohat smriti vibhramaha. Smriti bhranshat buddhinashat pranashyati. Krodh is anger, unchecked anger. So here Krishna talks about anger. If your anger remains unchecked, there's a lot of confusion. Krodhat bhavati sammoha. From unchecked anger, there arises confusion, a lot of confusion. When there's confusion, we forget our long-term goals, we forget our values, we forget our past learnings, and in a confused state, we start making wrong decisions. We start taking wrong decisions. The decision making suffers when we are confused when we take decisions with a confused mind. So when our decision suffers, sometimes what happens is I send harsh emails, sometimes I make poor decisions, sometimes we ruin team morale. This may lead to poor judgment, which in turn can lead to damage in our career damage. Our reputation can be damaged. We lose the opportunity or poor performance. So these are our challenges. Krodhat bhavati sammoha, sammohat shruti vibramha. From anger, there is confusion. From confusion, decision making suffers. We take poor judgments and the career damage. Then what are the solutions? He says, pause before reacting. Whenever there is an anger, see, generally, not in only professional life, in even our personal life, when we are angry, whatever decisions are taken by us in the anger moment are all generally wrong decisions. So before reacting, better to pause. Our elders tell us, when you're too much angry, stop speaking at all. Take a deep breath, and then you can. We have seen virus in the one of the movies, correct, where he is angry, he takes wrong decisions, he speaks wrong. So whenever we are angry, we should pause, take a pause, take a deep breath, step away from the desk, maybe change the location, go somewhere else, have a cup of coffee, and then reframe the situation. Will this matter after a week? Whatever is happening, if I take decision, if I speak this way, will this matter after a week? Once you have a bit of calmness, our communication also improves. We consciously communicate. Once we consciously communicate keeping long-term goals in view. And once we do that, a lot of stress goes down. Correct? Let us take an example. Let us take a story here where we say, okay, bhai, there's one chartered accountant. Let us take the name of one of the chartered, Sneha. At the end, at 7 p.m., she receives a trial balance from the client. Okay, this is the trial balance. 7 p.m., he receives this trial balance. Orders is to be completed by 10:30 p.m. or maybe return is to be filed by 10:30 p.m. and by before 12 she has to file the return. Now when she sees this, tells her article ke bhai print out lekar aao. The person takes 20 pages print out and print out comes blank. The article says, ma'am, ink khatam ho gaya printer mein. Oh God. Now it's 7:30 in the evening. I have to file return by night. Correct? Client comes at the end generally. We see so many clients come at the end. Correct? Now here, since Sneha is cool, calm-minded person, she takes a pause. Deep breath, calls for a coffee, and she says, let me fix this now. What to do? She calls up client कि भाई अब अवेलेबल रहना, अभी हमारे पास टाइम नहीं है, आप लास्ट डे पे आए हो, अब अवेलेबल रहो. It is not my responsibility if I cannot file return. And she talks to client accordingly. The client is now available. That is clear communication, conscious communication. She keeps this in long term. She keeps her long term view in mind. Why am I doing this? I'm doing this because I want to increase my practice. I'm doing this because I want I want my reputation to be very good. Yes, if these are my motivational, if these are my long term goals, my motivation, yes, let me finish this. And say she sits and completes it by 11:30. Before 12, the return is gone. If the portal is working, correct? If the portal is not working, she knows she cannot do anything. The next day, she hears that the deadline is relieved, correct? So that's about this verse. Krodhat bhavati sammoha, sammohat spriti vibhramaha. Unchecked anger leads to confusion. Confusion leads to wrong decision making. Decision making suffers. It leads to poor judgment, and ultimately it can damage your career. Let's go to the next one. कर्मण्येवाधिकारस्ते मा फलेषु कदाचन मा कर्म फल हेतुर्भूमा te sangostava karmani. We have heard this slok at least hundreds of times when we have seen Mahabharata on TV. Correct. So this is very popular verse which says you have a right to action alone. Karmanyevadhikaraste, you have a right to action alone. Never to the fruits. Ma faleshu kadachana. Let not be the fruits be your motive and not attachment to inaction. This talks about you have a right to action alone. What does this mean? Focus on what you can control. This means focus on what you can control. I can control my attitude. I can control my efforts. I can control my communication. So I control what you can control. I cannot fully control client decisions. I cannot fully control team performance. I cannot control management changes. So focus on what you have, what you can control. Never to the fruits, not letting results control our emotions. We saw in the previous verse also, attachment to outcomes create constant inner tensions. If I know that I have to, if I know that I have to, this is my outcome. I want to do this. I want to do this. I am too much with my outcome. It happens that I cannot perform properly. So focus on quality of actions, results automatically will improve. If I focus on quality of actions, results will automatically improve. Do not give much importance to the outcomes. So never to the fruits. Let not the fruits be your motive. Karma phal is not my motive. Work with purpose, not insecurity. Fear-driven work leads to dullness and low productivity. When my work is fear-driven, what will happen? Aisa ho gaya to kya? Aisa hua to kya? Correct? But motives or purposes like excellence, growth, professional integrity can drive me further. So my stress will reduce if I focus on motives or purpose. Why am I doing this? You have a right to action alone. Never to the fruits. Let not be the fruits be your motive, nor attachment to inaction. Detachment is showing up without anxiety. Some misinterpret as why work hard. Fruits तो मुझे चाहिए नहीं तो मैं काम क्यों करूं? Why bother improving? But keep growing. Take initiative. Be productive. Be proactive without much importance to quick results. We don't want quick results. We have our long-term goals in mind. And once we have our long-term goals in mind, we can actually go with it. So it directly addresses how attachment to outcomes creates stress and conflict. Let's go further into it. When outcomes don't go your way, you recover faster, maybe. Because your identity is not tied to the outcomes. When I know that I don't have to look upon only the outcomes, yes, my purpose is this, then I can build resilience. Improves creativity and decision making. A calm mind thinks clearly. An outcome obsessed mind freezes. When the mind is outcome obsessed, I want this, only this should, like, let us see, a student is studying very hard, that she wants only 95, 98%, because she's too much obsessed with the outcome. The mind freezes. Instead, let it be calm, because calm mind can think clearly. Eliminates fear of failure. You focus on what you can do today, not the fear of what may happen tomorrow. So what's going to happen tomorrow? It's better be in present and eliminate the fear of failure. See, failure is a different thing, and fear of failure. Fear of failure is harming much more than the failure, because we see failure is a stepping stone to the success. Removes constant mental comparison. Less of what if someone gets promoted before me, think less of what if someone gets promoted before me, and think more of let me do my work with excellence. If I start doing my work with excellence, 100% I'll be better from myself. I need to compare myself. I need to compare old myself with new myself, correct? Helps handle uncertainty. Corporate environments change rapidly. Detachment creates mental stability. If you're detached, not totally attached to outcomes, then at least some mental stability is created. Let us again go to one more story. What happens is, our Sneha, chartered accountant, is sitting in an office who is very stressed, like she is filing GSTR 9 and GSTR 9C and all. Late at night, she is sitting drowning in the deadlines. End aa gaya hai, client are demanding, endless audits are there. Every time a new mail pops up, she feels, will the client approve this? Will my partner be happy? What if there's a mistake in the RICO? But Sneha is calm person. She feels I can control my efforts. If I can control my efforts, better I will I'll do excellent efforts. Attachment, no, not much. Yes, I want my practice to grow. So I have that in mind, but not too much attachment with the result. Like whether client will approve or not too much attachment. She's focused in doing excellent work with a mental stability, and yes, she comes out of the problems. Let's go to the next one, which says, chapter 2, 56 verse. Dukheshvanuddvignamanaha sukheshu vigata spruha vitaraga bhaya krodha sthitadhir muni ruchyate. Now here, this is very important. Here, see, as I said, chapter 2 is sthita pragnya. Sthita Pragna is person who is level-headed. Sthita Pragna, a person is a balanced, emotionally stable. Okay. So now here he talks about a person should not be disturbed by sorrow. Dukheshvanudvigna manaha. A person should not be disturbed by sorrow. What sorrows we have in our professional life? Missing deadlines. A project is failed. My team is in a lot of friction. There is a lot of office politics. All these should not impact me, should not disturb me. I should not panic in these situations. Emotional stability is required. I should be able to think clearly, communicate wisely, and handle the crisis effectively if I am not disturbed by sorrow. If I am not disturbed by sorrow, I have emotional stability with which I can think clearly, communicate wisely, and handle the crisis effectively. Sukheshu vigata spruha, not overly attached to pleasure. In the previous verse, we saw not overly attached to the fruits. In this verse, we are saying not overly attached to the pleasure. Pleasure over here again is promotion, bonus, awards, praises. All are motivating, but over attachment is not good. So there's a thin line which motivates me and then which demotivates me. So we should enjoy success without depending upon the. We should enjoy success without depending upon it. So we should not depend on the success, better enjoy success. Vitaraga bhaya krodha, that is free from attachment, fear, and anger. Rag, bhaya, and krodh. So we should be free from attachment, fear, and anger. Attachment to outcomes, as we saw in the last verse, attachment to outcomes, fear of failure, poor communication, damaged relationships due to anger. So all these happens when we are having too much attachments, too much fear or anger. So person free from these three reacts calmly, strategically, and wisely. Sthita Muni, a person of steady wisdom. That is, as this chapter 2 is Sthita Pragnya, person with calm mind, steady wisdom. We say steady-minded professional is calm under pressure, clear in thought, humble in success, emotionally balanced. Person becomes effective leader, a problem solver, high performance professional. So a person with a steady or calm mind becomes an effective leader or a problem solver and with a very good high performance. So over here, I think I'll finish this early. Let us see our takeaways. Main three takeaways here. We have emotional control, focus, and patience. So we talk about emotional control. Emotional control is a strategic skill. In today's world, there's too much of chaos around. There's too much of stress around where we need to be emotional. Emotional control. We need not be much emotional. We should be able to balance our emotions. So emotional control is a strategic skill. When we have, let us take this example. When we are driving and there's too much traffic around, अचानक से सिग्नल बंद हो गया and everybody is, there's a lot of chaos, यहाँ कहीं से भी गाड़ी आ रही है, do we lose the control of the steering wheel? No. The steering wheel should be in our hand. Till the time we have the steering wheel in our control, we can still balance. So emotional control is very much required. As we saw in the first verse, unchecked anger leads to confusion. Confusion leads to poor judgment, which leads to career damage. So stress management is not optional. It protects our decisions. It protects our decision-making power. So stress management protects our decision-making power. Let it be our professional life, our corporate life, or our family life. So emotional control is the first and foremost thing which is necessary. Second is focus. Focus on your effort with full dedication. As we saw in the first and second, and even the third verse, focus. Focus is required. If I focus, With emotional control, I can see clearly around. Let go of stress of trying to control everything else. I cannot control everything else. I can control, I should be able to focus on things which I control. If I can focusing on things which I control, I think we can come up, we can rise. The third is patience. Take a pause before reacting. When there's a situation of anger, take a pause before reacting. Situation of a lot of stress, take a pause before reacting. Before any reaction, take a pause. Once we take a pause, our immediate action stops. And once immediate action stops, we can clearly think. Accept ups and downs as normal. Whatever has gone up will come down. We see in our stock market also. 86,000, and from 86,000 it goes down to 78,000. So many people have losses, but still people who have still held the things will come up. So accept ups and downs as normal. Nothing remains permanent. Stay steady when praised or criticized. In case of praise, in case of criticism, at both the ends, we should stay steady. Our emotional control should be there. If we have that, we can win. Focus on doing your work consistently. Consistency is required. Since 15, 20 years, I'm doing the same thing. Nobody is noticing. No. We see that even our bosses. I'm a small employee in a very big company. And still, when I'm doing something very consistently, people will notice. We always see there are only, uh, let us see the smallest of the employees. Let us see a peon who is sitting or watchman sitting outside the office gate. He is doing his work. He smiles. He greets you good morning every day. Good night. Bye, madam. And see, for 5, 6, 7 years, you might not notice. But after 15 years, yes, people will notice because his work is consistent. People will notice that, yes, he is there. He is doing a good work. Next is mindfulness builds emotional strength. We should strengthen our mind every day. One of the ways is doing meditation. I know doing meditation is not that very easy, but we can tame our minds. There are affirmations. People, most of the people have must have attended so many sessions where daily affirmations are there, daily meditation. At least 5, 7. If you can sit for 5 minutes for meditation, that also will give you calmness, the mindfulness. I think with this, we have discussed out of 700 verses of Bhagavad Gita, 18 chapters. We have just discussed 3 verses, and that gives us so much food for thought. Just imagine the chapter 12 about leadership skills. Chapter 12 talks about uh, bhakta, devotee who is loved by God. He may be a good friend. The chapter 12 talks about friendship. Chapter 12 talks about leadership skills. Chapter 12 talks about uh, how compassionate a person should be. So all those things are chapter 12. We have chapter 9 where God says that you are connected to me. If you're connected to me, if you are believing in what you're doing with God's blessings, Yogakshemam Vahamyaham. I will do everything for you. Chapter 15 talks about our connection with the Supreme. So, there are beautiful chapters, beautiful verses. If you have time, I feel people should at least read one verse. And we are in the Google age, we are in the AI age, where we just have a thought and we get so many things. So at least take one verse, Go through it. Only these three, I think a PPT will be sent to you. So only these three words, if you just go on finding out things on these three words, you can have good food for thought. And we can be the best individuals, performing best, focused, emotionally controlled, with a lot of patience, and the best human being. Thank you very much. The session is open for questions. Manisha ma'am, Prachi ma'am.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much, Sheetal ma'am, for the wonderful insight. And I guess the three keywords that you have shared about emotional behavior and the focus and the patience that we need, it's just like the three wheels of a tricycle. If we manage them well in the life, then maybe we can have a very good work life balance. And the session was really explained by you in a very simple language, so it was really interesting to relate to the daily situations that we face in our life. So thank you so much, and I'll just see if some questions have been popped up there. So ma'am, members who are attending the session, if there are any questions, you can post up your questions. Sheetal ma'am is there to answer them. And I guess in case if somebody does not have a question right now, maybe they may come across some questions later, they can surely post up,
100%.
and the same can be communicated to ma'am.
Yeah, 100% we'll answer that then.
Ma'am, I just have one question. Like,
Yes.
it's like we do understand everything. Just आपने समझाया, so we understood everything. But why is the implementation so hard when it comes to like small things?
The problem is we are into too much outcome based attitude. ये ऐसा नहीं हुआ तो क्या? Correct.
Right.
We are totally result based. Everything we see is result based. And
Right.
थोड़ा सा कुछ होता है. We are in the age where we scroll down to the reels only. तो हमारे पास कुछ सोचने का ही टाइम नहीं. Critical thinking nowadays is missing. And because of that, I think we are suffering.
Right. So we are more focusing on the results rather than the efforts that we do put.
Correct.
If we focus more on the efforts that we are putting and correct the direction, if we are not on the correct way, then maybe we'll be able to achieve the outcomes that we expect.
Correct. And the second thing is critical thinking, which is very much required for today's youth also.
Right.
All youngsters, they are in the reels age. 30 seconds से ज़्यादा वो लोग सोच भी नहीं सकते.
Right.
Correct. So critical thinking is a very distant thing for them.
We have just one request from member Nikita Pagaria ma'am. She is requesting to share the PPT for the link on the mail.
Sure.
Right. So
I'll share the PPT. Yes.
Right. So I guess currently there are no questions as of now. So if anybody has a question, as I earlier said, they can surely post, and the same will be communicated to ma'am. And once again, on behalf of the ICAI, I heartfully thank all the organizers for such wonderful session, and also Sheetal ma'am for giving such inspiring thoughts about the need of the hour, that is how to keep the work life balance. And we do have a lot of things that we can incorporate easily in our lives. So I hope all those who are there in the session will surely start doing that a bit by bit, step by step, and we'll surely be more successful in our.
Correct. Nobody is perfect. Even we are following, we are doing step by step only.
Right.
Correct.
Okay. So thank you one and all. And thank you ICI for giving this opportunity to be a moderator for the session. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Recording stopped.